Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. My name is Nia, and this is Virago Woman Warrior. So, good morning to you guys, all my warriors. I wanted to come on here really quick just to give some encouragement. I always want to give encouragement. But I was thinking about something the other day. Excuse my cat in the background. She's looking for a hot date as usual. But I was thinking about something the other day. I was thinking about how life can get really hard. Life can get really hard. And, there's so many things that come against us. There's so many adversities that we have to face from day to day. And that's the stuff that can really wear you down. It doesn't even have to be anything that's like so catastrophic. Sometimes it's the fact that things are so just mundane and dreary. It's the same thing every day, over and over and over again, especially if you have things that, you know, you're working on, things that you are trying to do, and it gets discouraging. And sometimes it takes, so long, or it feels like it's taking long, and it feels like it's never going to happen. And you may have all these obstacles that are coming against you, different situations, depending on what it is, depending on if it's like an actual project that you're working on or your business. It can just be living life. It can be in your marriage. It can be you trying to raise your children, whatever. But it can get really discouraging, and life will throw all kinds of things at you. Maybe you're working on the thing that God gave you to do. And I was in the house, and I was at my front door the other day, and I was just sitting there at the door, just getting some fresh air, looking at the sunshine and everything. And I have cats, as you can hear. And I had the door open for a while, and normally I would have to be swatting at them and yelling at them and pushing them out of the way to make sure they don't run outside and leave the house. And I sat at the door for a long time looking outside, enjoying the breeze, enjoying the sunshine, and I noticed that the cats didn't even try to run out of the door. And in that moment, God just put it in my spirit how sometimes we are like that. We are like the cats. It's like there was a time when, as soon as I opened that door, or even if I started approaching the door, the cats would come and be creeping by me and walking on the couch and trying to peek their head out the door, waiting for me to not be paying attention so they could shoot outside. But now I had swatted them away so much. I had blocked them so much. I had yelled at them so much. I moved them out of the way so much that now when I went to the door and I opened the door wide, they didn't even try. They didn't even come near the door. They didn't bother. They just stayed right where they were at. And then the Lord reminded me, I don't know if you guys have heard about that experiment where they had the fleas in the jar. And the fleas were in the jar, and they had the lid on the jar. And at first the fleas would jump and jump and jump and keep hitting the top of the jar. But after a while, because they got so tired of hitting the top of the jar, now they would only jump but so far. They wouldn't jump all the way to the top because they expected to hit the lid of the jar. And then it got to the point where when the scientists took the lid off of the jar, the fleas still only jumped but so far. They wouldn't even go out of the jar. They only went so far. And even when they had babies, if they had babies in the jar, because the babies saw that the parent only jumped so far, the babies didn't even try. And so I thought about the cats just giving up and not even trying. I thought about the fleas hitting the top of the jar. And sometimes we can be like that. We can be like the cats that I kept yelling at and swatting away and picking them up and moving them to the side, to the point where you get discouraged. You don't even try. You're tired of things blocking you. You're tired of being pushed out of the way. You're tired of the adversities that come. You're tired of the setbacks, the money not being right, emergencies coming up, discouragement, doubt, fear, all the things that come into your mind that block you and push you out of the way, the things that cause you to hit the top of the jar and hit the top of the jar and hit the top of the jar, to the point where you get tired, you get discouraged. But we never know when that breakthrough is going to come. You may not realize that your door is open. The door was wide open. The cats could see that the door was open. The sunshine was pouring in. The breeze was coming in. They saw the door open, but they got so discouraged because I always moved them out the way and yell and scream at them and swat at them that they didn't even try. They gave up. That flea that kept hitting the lid, hitting the lid, hitting the lid. When the lid was taken off, they were free and they didn't even realize it because they gave up and they stopped trying because they're used to hitting that lid. We don't know when that appointed time is going to come. We don't know when the lid is going to be off. You don't know. So don't give up. Don't stop trying. Even though you may feel like you're hitting a ceiling, even though there are things coming to block you, move you out of the way, yell and scream at you, swat at you. Life can get like that, but don't give up. Don't quit. You don't know when the lid is going to come off the jar. You don't know when that glass ceiling is going to break, especially if it's something that God gave you to do. Don't give up on it. My examples are always going to come from my life and raising my kids. And I remember feeling like that when I was raising them. It was very hard. And I mean, I made my life hard because I made myself a single mother. I wasn't married, and I had a whole little tribe of kids. I had 6 children, and just the everyday stuff was so hard, even without any emergencies coming up, even without any major disasters. Just the everyday stuff was hard. Just waking them up for school, just getting them up, trying to get everybody washed up, trying to get everybody dressed. It got hard. I cried a lot of days. I was exhausted mentally, physically. I wanted help. I wanted support. I didn't have enough money, but I had to learn to take it one day at a time. And that's what we have to do. You have to take it one day at a time. But even in that, don't feel like things are not going to change. This is just the way it is. Oh, I keep hitting the ceiling. It's just like this. It's another day, just the same thing. Don't feel like that. Keep pressing. Keep moving, keep working at it, keep trying. Sometimes you can't worry about so far into the future. I had to take one day at a time. Whenever I started trying to get focused too far ahead, whenever I started dwelling and feeling like, oh man, 5 years from now, I'm still gonna be doing this. 5 years from now, they're still gonna be small, because my kids are like stair steps. They're like boom, boom, boom. So at one point, I had a 5-year-old, I had a 4-year-old, I had 2 2-year-olds because I have 2 sets of twins. I had 2 2-year-olds and 2 1-year-olds. So I was still thinking, dang, even in 3 or 4 years, they're still gonna be small. I'm still gonna be going through this. And I would feel so discouraged, and I would feel so depressed, and I would feel so down. And I would be like, dang, God, when am I gonna get some help? When are you gonna send a husband? People with less kids than me have more help than I do. I know I got myself into this, but I need some help. But I had to learn God was my help. No man was going to come and rescue me. There was not going to be any knight in shining armor. And it was a sobering reality, but I had to realize that. And so I had to stop focusing on so many years ahead. And I had to just focus on one day at a time. One day at a time. That's all we can do. But just because you keep hitting that ceiling, just because you keep hitting the top of that lid and it feels like you can't go any further, keep trying, keep persevering, keep pressing. I started taking it one day at a time. I started tweaking the things that I could do. You know, I was horribly messy, disorganized. I don't know if that's the creative person in me. I don't know if I'm just making an excuse. But, you know, I was really messy. I knew where everything was, but it wasn't organized. But I had to learn to organize my life. And I had to put things in place that made my life easier. And I had to learn how to put my kids on a schedule. And I just took it one day at a time. And so I just kept walking and I kept moving and I kept living and I kept trying. Did I still cry sometimes? Absolutely. Was I still stressed out? Yes. Sometimes I was depressed and down, but the next day was a new day. Fresh mercies, new strength, new favor. God was still with me. I was making it. And eventually, when I looked up, my kids were older. They could be more independent. They could do some things for themselves. I didn't have to do every single thing. It wasn't as hard as it was years before. It was getting a little easier and easier. There were different, you know, trials and things I had to go through, but it was getting easier. But had I given up, I wouldn't have been able to walk into and see that my life was going to get better. Sometimes you just have to keep trying. You just have to fight until you make it to that next day. And making it to that next day is progress. Sometimes we want to see this drastic thing, but making it to the next day was progress. I had won. I had fought the good fight. I lived to fight another day, you know, and then I had to take that day for what it was. I had to take on those challenges that came for that day in that day. And God is with me. God is with you. So you're not fighting it alone, but don't give up. Just because you have adversities and things coming against you, just because you feel like you're hitting a ceiling, just because it looks like things are not changing, they are changing. You just may not see it. God is moving behind the scenes and your life is getting better, but you have to keep working on it. Don't stop working on it. Don't stop working on yourself. It used to look like my life was just on rinse and repeat, like Groundhog Day, the same thing, day after day after day. But it was changing. Little by little, I was getting older. I was getting wiser. I was learning more about myself. I was becoming a better woman. I was becoming a better mother. My children were getting older. I was teaching them things. And so eventually it changed. And now they're grown. You know, now they're not babies anymore. There's no more diapers and formula. You know, they're not running around the house yelling and screaming and tugging on me. But if I had given up, I would never get to this point. I would never get to see them be big and independent. And I couldn't see myself where I am now, you know, at a different place in life. Now at a place where they can help me and they can support me, you know. And so the tables have turned and they're different. But I just wanted to encourage you. Don't give up when it gets hard. Don't give up because you keep hitting the lid like the flea trying to jump, trying to jump. Don't give up. Don't give up. You don't know when God is going to take the lid off. You don't know, you know, when he's going to tell you to just walk through that door. There's going to be adversity. You know, life is just hard. It's not meant to be easy. Life is hard, but with God, we can do all things. Just don't give up. Keep working at it. Things are going to change. Sometimes they just change little by little, but don't stay discouraged. You're going to feel discouraged sometimes, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. And don't talk yourself out of a blessing. And I'm thinking about how with the experiment with the flea, how if the flea had babies, the baby saw the flea only jump but so far, so they only jump so far. Don't compare yourself to other family members or your parents or your friends. Just because things didn't work out for them or different things happen with them, it doesn't mean it's going to be like that for you. Whatever God spoke over your life, it's going to come to pass. Just because they may have failed in something that they did, it doesn't mean you're going to fail. We just got to keep pressing and we got to keep moving, and we can't let the setbacks discourage us to the point where we don't try, where we just give up. Don't give up. You got to have grit. You got to hold on. You got to keep pressing. You got to keep fighting. You're warriors. It's a reason why I named my ministry that. Virago means warrior. And so you guys are warriors. So I wanted to encourage you. Just keep going. No matter what's coming your way, no matter the setback, God uses everything. It doesn't matter if we have setbacks. They're gonna come. The enemy is not going to let you just waltz into your promise. You know, that he's gonna fight you. There's always gonna be resistance because there's purpose. You know, he doesn't want your life to change. He doesn't want you to be better. Doesn't want you to make progress. Doesn't want you to break those generational curses and different things like that. Doesn't want you to set a precedent for your children to do better. Doesn't want you to come out of poverty, you know, or be that great person that God has called you to be. But you just have to take it one day at a time. It's Sunday. It's a new day. It's a morning. It's the beginning of a new week. Fresh mercy. Fresh mercy. If you messed up and things didn't go right, you could try again. You could try again. Like the great prophetess Aaliyah said. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So it's a new day. It's Sunday. It's the day the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. And we are not going to quit. We are not quitters. We are not quitters. We are warriors. We are more than conquerors. We are overcomers in Christ Jesus. So I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. I just wanted to encourage you. I want you to have a blessed day. Remember that God is with you. If he's with you, he's more than the whole entire world against you. You are everything that he says you are. You are everything he says you are. You can be everything that he says you can be. Just don't give up. So until next time, you guys, fight the good fight of faith and keep that sword up. I love you. Until next time. Bye.